Welcome and thanks for joining us as we continue discussing the health of the human body. We have learned that the body is the container of life and is a tabernacle where the spirit of man and the spirit of God commune.
Even though we are not our body, we are spirit. We are responsible for our body. The body's like an instrument, and the purpose of an instrument is to achieve an objective. The instrument cannot achieve the objective on its own, but it can be used for good or bad in the hands of another.
If I give you a car, you can choose to use that car to go shopping, sell drugs, or to go take people to church.
Yeah, that's true.
In the same way, we can use the body as an instrument for carnal, sinful objectives, or as an instrument for righteousness. Romans 12:1 urges us to present our bodies as living sacrifices.
Yes, it says, I appeal to you, therefore, brethren, and beg of you, in view of the full mercies of God, to make a decisive dedication of your bodies, presenting all your members and faculties as a living sacrifice, holy, devoted, consecrated, and well-pleasing to God, which is your reasonable, rational, intelligent service and spiritual worship.
Just as Jesus became a sacrifice for us, so we are to present our bodies as a living sacrifice, an act of worship to God.
Yeah. For example, some spiritual disciplines such as fasting, abstinence, and silence are bodily behaviors which allow the invisible eternal spirit to take precedence over the visible temporal realm of the body.
In this class, we will learn the importance of work, rest, and celebration for the health of the body.
Work and rest are not opposites, but are in fact synergists. This means that they cooperate with one another to produce a better or more enhanced effect. In order to give, we must receive. In order to exhale, we must inhale. And in order to effectively work, we must rest.
Yes. Asking which is more important, work or rest, is like asking a bird which is more important, the left wing or the right wing.
If you want to navigate a canoe and you only paddle with one side, you'll be going in circles and making no progress.
Yep.
If you only work and don't rest, or you only rest and don't work, you'll have limited impact. We need a balance of both work and rest.
Yes. I remember when I first started exercising, and I was told that I need to keep a routine of exercising, because if I stop, I will lose 20% of muscle gain each day that I didn't work.
Wow. So after a week of not exercising, you're kind of going backwards.
Square one.
When you work out too much, you can overwork a muscle and break it down so it doesn't function fully at its capacity. But if you never work a muscle, it will lose its strength and its full capacity to function.
By the curse that came upon man at the fall, we became programmed by default to work. So most people don't need a lesson on the fact that work is important. But the question here is, what are you working for?
Some people's motivation for work is material, like food and clothes. But Matthew 6 says, therefore I tell you, stop being perpetually uneasy, anxious, and worried about your life, what you will eat and what you will drink, or about your body, what you will put on.
Yes. He says to look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father keep feeding them. Are you not worth much more than they? And why should you be anxious about clothes?
And consider the lilies of the field and learn how they grow. They don't toil or spin. They're not worried or anxious, saying, what are we going to have to eat or drink, or what are we going to wear?
Yes. Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 2, I make great work, he says. I build myself houses, I planted vineyards. I also gather for myself silver and gold and the treasure of kings. Then I look on all that my hands had done and the labor I had spent doing it, and behold, all was vanity. And a striving after the wind and feeding on that. And there was no profit under the sun. Yeah.
Have you ever paused like Solomon to think about what your work is accomplishing? Later in Matthew 6, we're advised to not gather up and heap up and store for ourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust and worm consume and destroy, and where thieves can break in and steal. But gather and heap up and store for ourselves treasures in heaven, eternal treasures. It says no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will stand by and be devoted to one and despise the other one.
Yes.
You can't serve God and mammon, or riches, money, possessions, or whatever you trust in.
And there is nothing wrong with having possessions as long as possessions don't have you or us.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Verse 33 says, but seek, aim at, and strive after, first of all, his kingdom and his righteousness, his way of doing and being right. And then all these things taken together will be given you besides. All these things mean when you seek first God's kingdom, everything else will be provided.
As C.S. Lewis said, put first things first and get second things thrown in. Put second things first and we lose both the first and second things.
That is a powerful truth. When we put first thing first, second things are added. But when we put second things, we first both the first ones and the second ones.
We lose both. Yeah. We have a ministry and a business, which keep us pretty busy. The work in the ministry really never ends. So we have to be intentional, number one, about keeping a balance between work and rest and recognizing when we need to take a break.
When we go to other countries to do ministry, we get on the schedule requests to minister once we arrive, but sometimes we have to say no in order to take care of ourselves and make sure we are intentional about rest. We understand when we come home, we have a business to take care of. So we try to purposely schedule time for rest before, during, and after the trip.
We try is the key word. Sometimes it's not easy. It's a juggling and trying to prune and keep a balance. We're also very intentional about the business not taking priority over the ministry. Our purpose is ministry and the kingdom of God.
Yes.
The business is necessary to purpose as it provides for us to be ambassadors for God's kingdom.
Yep.
Just like Paul, who worked making tents while he advanced God's kingdom. Kingdom advancement was his purpose. Tent making was the channel he used to provide that God used to provide so that he could accomplish that purpose.
Yes, we work, but we also have balance and order, always striving to seek God's kingdom first. Yeah.
If we ever start to make the thing that's necessary to purpose, the purpose or objective, then we've gotten things out of order.
What's the purpose? We don't want to dismiss the importance of work. Work is necessary. We do hope this lesson will prompt you to think about whether or not you are placing work in its proper place, giving it an appropriate importance. I will say it this way, not too much, but not too little.
And really consider, what are the factors that drive you to work? Are you doing the right thing for the wrong reasons? Are you seeking first things first, or have second things become a priority?
Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next portion.